Okay, so we've all been there, haven't we? That moment when you walk into a room, you had a specific task, like crystal clear in your mind, maybe just grabbing your car keys, or the remote, or that book you meant to read, and then just poof.
Gone.
Yeah, you're just standing there staring, feeling like a human question mark, kind of wondering why. Why did I even come in here?
Right.
You might kind of chuckle, maybe brush it off as, oh, just a busy day, too many tabs open in your head, that kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely. Or maybe it's a detail about a friend, someone close, something you should remember, like maybe their birthday.
Oh, yeah, been there.
Or, something significant they told you just last week, and it just evaporates into the mental ether.
Right.
Or even a conversation you literally just finished 5 minutes ago, and you can't quite pin down the specifics.
Yeah, you laugh it off, right? Make a joke about, I don't know, brain fog or getting older.
We do. We laugh. But, underneath that laugh, there's maybe a little flicker of something else, isn't there? A deeper question. Is this really just common busyness? Just a simple, brain hiccup.
Or is it something more?
Exactly. Could we be maybe experiencing something a bit more profound? Something that might be subtly, almost like imperceptibly draining the vibrancy, the joy, the very essence from our lives.
That's really the core question we want to dig into today.
Yeah.
And it's compelling because, well, it touches something I think we all feel at times. Could these little moments, these tiny, almost funny bits of forgetfulness, these mental blips we just dismiss, could they actually be symptoms of something bigger?
Yeah, a larger phenomenon.
Right. A state that our source material for this deep dive explores really, really well. It calls it autopilot life, or sometimes zoning out.
Zoning out. I know that feeling.
Yeah. It's that sense of being, physically there, but mentally you're miles away. Just moving through the motions without really engaging, without experiencing things. So today, we're going to unpack this really intriguing piece of writing. We'll dive into the causes, which are pretty surprising, actually, and the symptoms, which can be, honestly, a bit unsettling when you see them lay out. And most importantly, maybe chart a course. Figure out how we can navigate our way back from it. Back to a life lived with, full awareness, with intention, engagement.
Indeed. And we've all felt that, haven't we? That kind of subtle drift, that feeling of being just slightly disengaged from your own life, like you're watching it from a distance or something.
Yeah.
And the source material we're looking at, it doesn't just theorize about this. It paints this really vivid picture, almost uncomfortably relatable, about how pervasive this whole autopilot thing can actually be.
Totally.
It starts with those moments that are just so common they make you nod along, kind of quiet, maybe a bit rueful, recognizing it, maybe even thinking, oh, okay, so it's not just me.
Exactly. It's definitely not just you. The author kicks off with this rapid-fire sequence of scenarios that just hit home. Imagine this one.
Yeah.
You've geared up for college, university maybe. You're on campus, rushing to a big lecture, or maybe an exam you've been stressing about.
Right.
And then it hits you, your ID card.
Oh, no.
Gone. Left it on your desk. Maybe it's still in yesterday's coat pocket. Who knows?
I've done that, or something like it.
Right. Or even worse, maybe you're heading for a really important job exam. Your stomach's doing flips, nerves, anticipation.
Yeah.
You get there, ready to give it your all, and you realize
Admit card.
you forgot the admit card. Exactly. The article points to these specific, incredibly frustrating slips just to show how easily we can lose track of really crucial details, even in these super high-stakes moments.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're being irresponsible, or careless. It points to something deeper, almost this unsettling disconnect between what you intend to do and what actually happens.
Right. And that disconnect, that subtle kind of slippage. It's not just for those big high-pressure moments like exams or whatever.
No.
The source material really expands on how it just seeps into our daily routines, our, everyday grind. It talks about people who might, consistently find themselves going to work, but they're often late, or sometimes forgetting small but essential things they need to take with them. Not just a one-off oversight, but a recurring pattern.
Like forgetting your lunch or your keys again.
Exactly. These aren't just isolated incidents, one missed bus. They're like little flags. Persistent oversights that when they start piling up, they paint this bigger picture of disengagement. Disengagement from our own routines.
Like your body's there doing the motions, but your mind is languid, or maybe racing ahead to the next thing before finishing the current one.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's this subtle but really significant inefficiency, a lack of presence.
And the impact It's not just professional or academic, right? Or even just logistical, like being late. The article really digs into the emotional weight of this forgetfulness, especially how it ripples through our closest relationships.
Oh, yeah.
It says, and this one really hits, perhaps you were in a relationship but forgot your partner's birthday, which might have been very important to your partner.
Ooh, yeah, that's rough.
It's a real gut punch, isn't it? Because it's not about not loving them or not caring. It suggests that in that autopilot state, the emotional significance, the importance of a date like that, it just doesn't register with the usual intensity, the usual vividness.
Right, it's like the volume is turned down on its importance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a profound sign that something deeper is off, not with your affection, but with your attention, your presence, your ability to really hold on to what matters most.
It really does underline how deep and wide this issue goes, and it broadens out even more, touching on the mundane stuff, the domestic things, the social overlaps.
Like what?
Well, the source mentions things like returning home from shopping with half the things. We've all done that, right?
Guilty. Many times.
Yeah.
Make a list, still forget half of it.
Exactly. Or in personal life, forgetting very small things. These might not be catastrophes, but they chip away at your efficiency, don't they? That feeling of being on top of things. They chip away at the fabric of daily life.
Yeah, it makes things feel disjointed.
Disjointed, yeah. Like a series of incomplete actions instead of a smooth flow, like you're navigating your own house, but there's this subtle, persistent fog around you.
But then it gets, I think, even deeper. It moves into the realm of, like, profound social disengagement.
How so?
Well, the article observes this trend, and it's kind of chilling. Missing someone, keeping track of someone, spending time chatting with someone, eating together, everything is getting messed up.
Wow, okay.
And this part really struck me because it hits as such a fundamental human need, right? Connection. It says, despite being a social creature, you are not showing much interest in talking to people, even if the topic is very popular or interesting.
That is a profound shift. To lose interest even in interesting things.
Isn't it? Being physically in a room, maybe even in the middle of a lively chat, but finding yourself emotionally, mentally, just absent, even when it's about stuff you'd normally be really into, things that would usually spark your curiosity.
Right.
It's like that spark, that genuine connection, that very human impulse to engage. It starts to dim. And it leaves you feeling kind of isolated, even if you're surrounded by people.
It does. And that erosion of social connection, it leads directly into the behavioral, the emotional shifts the source points out.
Like getting irritable.
Exactly. It says, in a busy and stressful life, you are just forgetting. You are not a bad person at all, but unconsciously you are behaving badly with others. And that's a really crucial distinction, I think.
That it's unconscious, not deliberate.
Right. It's not intentional malice. It's not some fundamental flaw in your character. It's presented as a symptom, a byproduct of this disengaged state. You're not thinking and then answering someone's questions slowly. Or maybe too quickly, too reactively.
Yeah.
And here's the really stark phrasing the author uses, translating from Bangla. You have become a bit short-tempered, meaning you are losing patience quickly and expressing reactive attitudes.
Short-tempered. Reactive. That sounds familiar in stressful times.
It does. The source even says you might be a very friendly person, but now you only find anger resentment. It's this disturbing flip, isn't it? Your usual personality gets inverted almost, driven by this internal state of being overwhelmed, disconnected, just running on empty.
Like your emotional fuel tank is just depleted.
Precisely. So depleted that only the most basic reactive responses are left.
The ultimate aspect of this, though, and maybe the most chilling, the author describes it, is this profound loss of time, loss of awareness.
More than just forgetting tasks.
Yeah, way more. It's a disconnect from the actual flow of life. It says you don't know how much time is passing, you don't know how much is happening, and you don't even care.
Wow, that level of detachment?
Imagine that. What's the date today? Don't know. Is tomorrow Friday? Don't know. Oh, the whole calendar needs to be changed. Don't remember. It's almost like you're numb to time.
Yeah.
The article even asks, today your birthday, don't remember. How many promises made to how many people? Don't remember. It's like life is just rushing past. A blur.
Yeah.
An indistinct current. And you're just this passive observer, swept along without really feeling it or remembering the journey.
Losing the texture of life.
Exactly. The richness, the texture, it just dissolves.
And this profound state, this detachment, this living without really engaging, being physically there but mentally, emotionally absent, that is precisely what the author flags as autopilot life.
Or zoning out.
Or zoning out. The source even compares it to logging out or signing out, like a deliberate or maybe not so deliberate disengagement from the operating system of your own life.
That phrase signing out really captures it.
It does. It's that pervasive feeling, isn't it? Present in body, not in mind, just going through the motions, not really experiencing, not absorbing, not remembering the moments that actually make up your life. It's a significant and kind of insidious disconnect from your own lived reality.
So, okay, we've painted this, well, frankly, rather stark picture of what autopilot life looks like, what it feels like, from those minor little slips to that really profound disengagement.
Yeah, it's not a pretty picture.
No. But the next question, the one that really makes you lean in, is why?
Right.
What's happening under the hood?
Yeah.
Scientifically speaking, what leads to this state of forgetting and apathy and just disengagement?
Okay, let's get into the science.
Well, our source dives into the medical science, and it brings up a really crucial player in our brain chemistry, dopamine.
Ah, dopamine. Okay. Often hear about that as the feel-good chemical, right? The reward chemical, linked to pleasure, motivation, even addiction sometimes.
Precisely, all of those things. But how does it connect to this feeling of being on autopilot?
Yeah, what's the link? Well, the article quotes medical science very clearly on this. As age increases, dopamine-secreting cells may gradually become less effective or even die.
Oh, wow. So it's partly biological aging.
It can be. It suggests a fundamental biological shift happening inside our brains. It means the very mechanism that gives us that vital sense of pleasure, of motivation, excitement, finding things engaging and worthwhile, that mechanism can start to falter.
Like the engine light coming on in your car?
That's a great analogy. The fuel isn't flowing as efficiently as it used to.
So if those dopamine cells are less effective, that fundamentally changes how we perceive things, how we react to the world.
It absolutely can.
So something you absolutely loved as a kid might now, if you're experiencing this dopamine dip, just feel, I don't know, flat or even pointless.
Exactly. The source really elaborates on that. It says, meaning what you enjoyed in childhood might seem absurd, pointless in old age.
Absurd. That's a strong word.
It is. Think about the pure, like, unadulterated joy you might have felt as a child from something simple, right? Like crunching leaves in autumn.
Yeah. Or waiting for your favorite cartoon.
Or a silly game in the park. Just pure delight. Now, for someone experiencing this dopamine dip, that same thing, the same sensory input, the same activity, it might just land with a dull thud.
Bland. Mundane.
Yeah. Entirely without purpose, almost. It's not that the thing itself changed, but our brain's capacity to really savor it, to get joy and motivation from it, that's diminished because the dopamine flow is reduced.
And it's not just about losing pleasure, right? The source mentioned specific downstream effects.
Yes, exactly. The impact isn't just feeling less joy. The source actually details 9 potential downstream problems that can pop up when dopamine production is consistently low. It really shows how central this chemical is to our overall well-being.
9 symptoms. Okay, that sounds significant. That sounds like it could impact pretty much every area of life. Let's walk through them. I imagine listeners might recognize some of this in themselves.
They certainly might. The first one, and maybe the most obvious, is a lack of enthusiasm and motivation.
Just feeling about everything.
Yeah, pretty much. But deeper than that, it's not just feeling a bit tired. It's that profound sense of not wanting to start anything new. Even stuff you used to love. Things that once lit you up.
The spark is gone.
Yeah. That internal drive, the desire to initiate, it just isn't there to push you forward. You know you should do something, maybe, but the actual want has just evaporated.
Yeah, okay. What's number 2?
Following right on that is the second symptom, feeling joyless or not finding pleasure.
So even when you do the fun things.
Exactly. Even when you do engage in activities that are supposed to be fun, like a hobby you love or time with family or going to a concert, it just feels flat, dull, almost mechanical.
The zigzag is gone.
The zing, yeah, that spark of genuine delight, it's just conspicuously absent, and it leaves you feeling kind of hollow even when you're doing enjoyable things. It's less about a bad mood, more about a pervasive lack of feeling good.
Got it. Number 3.
Third, and this one is crucial for just getting through the day, is a pronounced lack of concentration.
Brain fog territory.
Big time. It shows up as a struggle to focus on any one task. Your mind is constantly drifting, unable to hold attention for very long.
And that feeds right back into the forgetting we talked about earlier.
Absolutely. It makes it hard to finish tasks, absorb new info, even just follow a conversation without your mind wandering off somewhere else.
Okay. Fourth,
and this is a really common issue, is sleep problems.
Ah, yes. Trouble sleeping.
Yeah. Difficulty falling asleep, problems staying asleep through the night, or waking up feeling totally unrested, unrefreshed, like you didn't sleep at all.
And that's such a vicious cycle, isn't it?
Totally vicious. Because poor sleep hammers your cognitive function, messes with your mood regulation, and it further depletes those already struggling dopamine levels.
Right. Okay, number 5.
Fifth on the list is memory loss. And this is beyond that fleeting micro-forgetting of, keys or birthdays.
More significant stuff.
Yeah. Struggling with more significant recall. Forgetting important details from recent events, maybe entire conversations, or even basic facts you should know. It's like the brain just isn't consolidating new information properly, or it can't retrieve stored memories efficiently. Leads to that pervasive sense of mental fogginess, feeling unreliable.
Okay, halfway through the list. Number 6.
The 6th point flags problems with social interaction or behavior.
So pulling back from people.
That can be part of it. It could show up in different ways. Feeling awkward or uncomfortable in social settings, maybe finding it hard to connect genuinely with people, or withdrawing from your social circles altogether.
Even though we need connection.
Exactly. Despite that innate human need, the actual effort to engage just feels too taxing, too overwhelming, so it leads to more isolation.
Okay, number 7.
7th, and this one has a huge impact on your emotional life, is mood swings. This covers things like heightened anxiety, feelings of depression, and noticeable irritability.
So just feeling emotionally all over the place or stuck in a low gear.
Yeah. You might find yourself getting easily frustrated by tiny things, disproportionately anxious about everyday stuff, or just generally feeling down or angry, often for no clear reason. It's like your emotional thermostat is broken, swinging wildly, or just stuck on low.
That sounds exhausting. Okay, 8th.
Then there's the 8th point, which can be really serious, really destructive: addiction. The source specifically mentions alcohol and gambling.
Seeking a quick fix.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
It points to this desperate, often unconscious search for intense, immediate gratification, a quick dopamine hit just to feel something, anything. When the natural, healthy sources of pleasure and motivation are so diminished, it's a way the brain tries to artificially stimulate itself when the internal sources are dry.
Right. And the last one, number 9.
And finally, the 9th point, also very concerning, reflecting some profound internal distress, is eating disorders. The source specifically notes an increased risk of conditions like anorexia nervosa and bulimia nervosa.
Wow. So it can impact really fundamental drives.
Absolutely. It highlights a deep disruption in basic human drives, in self-perception, self-regulation. It really demonstrates the widespread impact of a dysregulated dopamine system. It touches everything.
Okay, so those 9 symptoms: lack of motivation, joylessness, poor concentration, sleep issues, memory loss, social problems, mood swings, addiction, eating disorders, all potentially linked back to reduced dopamine. But, you said earlier it's linked to age, but surely it's not just age, because lots of younger people feel this apathy, this disengagement too.
You're absolutely right to push on that. It's definitely not just an inevitable part of getting older. The source points to 2 main root causes that often work together, creating this kind of vicious, self-reinforcing cycle.
Okay, what are they?
The first is an unhealthy lifestyle. Our daily habits, the very rhythm of how we live, contribute hugely to this chemical imbalance.
Like diet and exercise.
Exactly. That covers everything from a poor diet that lacks essential nutrients to a sedentary lifestyle without enough physical activity, insufficient or really irregular sleep patterns, and, excessive, often mindless screen time.
All the modern culprits?
Pretty much. All these common habits can deplete our natural reserves and disrupt the body's really intricate ability to produce, release, and regulate neurotransmitters like dopamine effectively.
It's like constantly running your car on low-quality fuel.
And never taking it in for maintenance. Perfect analogy.
Okay, so unhealthy lifestyle is one major factor. What's the second?
The second big one is chronic mental stress.
Stress. The constant companion.
Yeah, but we're not talking about the acute, temporary stress like meeting a deadline. We mean that prolonged, insidious, relentless pressure that just becomes the constant background noise of your life.
That low-grade hum of anxiety.
Exactly. That continuous fight or flight state leads to elevated cortisol levels. That's our main stress hormone.
And cortisol is bad long-term.
Well, it's vital in emergencies, but when it's persistently high, it taxes our system enormously. It doesn't just directly impact dopamine production, often suppressing it. It also depletes other essential neurotransmitters. This constant internal alarm state just leaves you feeling drained, overwhelmed, constantly on edge, incapable of finding peace or sustained engagement.
So it's a double whammy. bad habits and chronic stress.
And the source is really clear. These two things, unhealthy lifestyle and chronic mental stress, they don't just exist side by side, they feed each other. They create this powerful feedback loop.
How so?
Poor habits make stress worse, right? If you're not sleeping well, eating junk, not moving, you're less resilient to stress. And then stress makes it way harder to maintain healthy habits. Who feels like cooking a healthy meal or going for a run when they're totally stressed out?
Good point. You reach for the easy, comforting thing.
Exactly. So they reinforce each other, trapping people in that autopilot state and making all those debilitating symptoms we just listed even worse. It's a self-perpetuating cycle that just systematically robs us of our vitality, our engagement, and ultimately our joy.
That really connects the dots, doesn't it? It makes so much sense. It's not just one thing, but this powerful combination of how we live and how we cope, or maybe more accurately, how we fail to cope with the pressures of modern life.
Yeah.
So if dopamine is this critical fuel, right, for engagement, for joy, for motivation, how do we refill the tank? How do we actually break out of this cycle? The source moves on from diagnosing the problem to putting forward this really powerful, almost elemental solution. And it opens this part with a really personal, quite poignant story from the author.
It does. It's quite moving, actually. The author recalls this moment when a very close friend asked a really profound question. Tell me one reason to live.
Wow, heavy question.
Deeply heavy. And the author's immediate response, without hesitation, was just one single powerful word. Dream. Dream. And then the article immediately follows up with this profound statement, almost spiritual. Human life cannot be without dreams. A person cannot live without dreams. Dreams are the sustenance for human life.
Sustenance, like food for the soul.
Exactly like food for the soul. This isn't just presented as, poetic language or some philosophical idea. It's put forward as a fundamental assertion, a core truth about what gives our lives purpose, direction, and ultimately meaning. It suggests that just like our bodies need food, our spirits, our minds need dreams to survive and really thrive.
That's a powerful image. Sustenance. But how do dreams actually act as this sustenance? What practical things do they do for us beyond just giving us something to hope for?
Well, the source outlines several really critical active functions of dreams. It says, dreams challenge people, dreams make people laugh and cry, dreams teach people new skills and creativity.
So they're not passive, they push us.
They absolutely push us. And this part is key. People become disciplined to fulfill their dreams. So dreams aren't just these passive fantasies, castles in the air. They're presented as active, dynamic forces.
Right.
They push us out of our comfort zones. They evoke deep, often intense emotions, both the good and the bad, the elation and the frustration. They spur us to learn, to develop new skills. They ignite creativity. And critically, they instill this profound sense of discipline and purpose in our daily lives.
They give you direction.
Exactly. They provide the direction, that internal GPS that the autopilot life so desperately lacks. They give form and meaning to our efforts.
And this is where the science comes back in, right? Connecting this idea of dreams directly to our brain chemistry, to dopamine.
Precisely. It ties it all together beautifully. According to medical science, the source states, this is why dopamine production increases in humans, because of dreams, because of the pursuit.
So it's the pursuit that triggers the dopamine.
Yes. And this is the fascinating bit. It's not just about finally achieving the dream, it's very much about the pursuit itself. The article uses this really vivid, relatable analogy.
What is it?
Just like the joy of passing one level in a game and moving to another level.
Ah, okay. I get that. Like in a video game.
Exactly. Think about how a video game hooks you. It's that constant loop, isn't it? Challenge, effort, small victory, and then the anticipation of the next level. That feeling of working towards something, making progress, even tiny steps, foreseeing a desired outcome, that is what fuels dopamine.
So the brain releases dopamine during the journey, not just at the destination.
Often more powerfully during the journey. In the anticipation, the planning, the small wins along the way. It's the continuous striving, those incremental steps forward, the constant engagement with a meaningful goal that keeps the dopamine flowing. That's what prevents that sense of absurdity or pointlessness from taking over. It's the engine of sustained engagement.
That makes perfect sense. It really is the journey, the process of striving, not just getting there. And this reminds me of that fascinating insight the author shares from the Bollywood actor Hrithik Roshan.
Oh, yeah. The quote.
Yeah, he apparently said in an interview, and I'm paraphrasing here from the translation, something like, I used to think success would bring happiness in life, but when I achieved success, I was looking for happiness around. Actually, happiness is like practicing every day.
It's such a profound statement, isn't it? It cuts right to the heart of what we're talking about, the nature of joy, of motivation.
Yeah.
The author interprets this by suggesting that Hrithik Roshan, having, already achieved everything he had dreamt of in terms of his early massive success, he found that the joy of another super hit movie would be even less than the joy of acting in the first movie.
Because the initial burning desire was fulfilled.
Exactly. It highlights this crucial point. Once that burning desire, that massive dream is fulfilled, if there isn't a new horizon, a new dream to chase, a new level to pursue, then the joy, and by extension, the dopamine hit associated with achievement, can plateau. It can even diminish.
So the lasting satisfaction comes from the process.
The lasting satisfaction, the sustained happiness comes from the daily practice, the continuous engagement, the ongoing pursuit, the active participation in life's challenges. Not just the finite moment of attaining one single ultimate goal. It's about maintaining that dynamic cycle of challenge and growth.
That's a really powerful distinction. It's not about ticking off boxes on a list. It's about the process of living with purpose, of continually striving. So what happens then to people who don't cultivate this, who don't have that continuous wellspring of dreams, of burning desires, people who find themselves adrift without that internal engine?
Well, the source paints a pretty stark picture for them, a bit melancholic, really. But those who have no dreams, no burning desire in life, will gradually forget more or less everything, like the examples above.
So they just continue in that autopilot state.
They continue experiencing those micro-forgetting moments, that social disengagement, the emotional ups and downs we talked about, precisely because that internal engine, the dopamine fueled by pursuing dreams, is sputtering. Or maybe it's completely stalled out. Life just loses its color, its detail.
And it's not just about forgetting daily tasks, is it? It's about forgetting potential.
Tragically, yes. Forgetting their own vast, untapped potential. The article says, and this part is really heart-wrenching, they will keep forgetting that they could have done many things in life if they wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
They could have helped many people if they wanted to. They could have strengthened the nation more with a working life if they wanted to. They might have become the best in the country if they wanted to.
It's like a quiet tragedy playing out.
It is. The gradual fading of possibilities, the slow dimming of a life's potential, simply because that internal flame of desire, of dreaming has flickered out.
Leaving them adrift.
Yeah, adrift in an autopilot existence. Disconnected from their own best selves and disconnected from the world around them. And the author concludes this section with a really personal, poignant observation. It carries a lot of weight.
What does he say?
He says, but most of the time, this class of people, in my observation, has disappointed me greatly.
Disappointed him. That sounds harsh.
I don't think it's meant as a harsh judgment. I think it speaks more to the profound emotional impact of witnessing human potential go unrealized. Seeing people capable of so much just not engaging, simply because that internal fuel of dreams has run dry. It's the disappointment of seeing a life not live to its fullest potential.
Okay, so given this, well, fairly sobering picture of autopilot life and the absolutely critical, almost elemental role that dreams play in keeping us vital, it's natural for a cynical thought to creep in.
Definitely. Like, okay, great, but what if I don't have dreams anymore? What if I feel stuck? Exactly. And the author actually addresses this head on. He quotes a very close friend who once said something quite stark. After 25 years of age, no one changes. They just pretend to have changed. So, dear friend, you have to give up this futile attempt to change anyone.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty strong. And honestly, you hear versions of that all the time, don't you?
All the time.
That idea that people are just set in their ways after a certain age, that fundamental shifts in personality or life direction are basically impossible.
Yeah, it really resonates with a lot of people's observations, maybe even their own experiences trying to change ingrained habits or seeing others try and fail. It implies that if you find yourself on autopilot now, well, you're kind of stuck there, destined to just repeat the same patterns.
It's a bit fatalistic.
It absolutely is. And the weight of that statement, it can feel really heavy. It can lead to this profound sense of resignation, right? A feeling of, well, why bother trying if change isn't really possible anyway? This perspective, it often comes from seeing those deeply entrenched patterns in others, or maybe from personal frustrating attempts to change someone that just didn't work out. It feeds on the idea that our identities, our habits, our core ways of being are rigidly fixed, unalterable once we hit, say, mid-20s.
It's kind of a comforting thought if you don't want to change, I guess.
Maybe, but it's pretty disheartening if you do yearn for something different.
But the author, He doesn't just leave it there, does he? He acknowledges his friend's perspective, even calls himself a fool for thinking differently, but he pushes back.
He absolutely pushes back. He counters this pervasive cynicism with this really powerful message of hope, of resilience. He says, still, I would say, change is possible. Our colorful dreams can still come true. Some voices, some words, some people have brought many changes in others' lives.
That's a crucial pivot, isn't it? A defiant stance against that fatalism.
Totally defiant. It's a direct challenge to that common idea of being fixed after 25. It's a reminder of our inherent capacity for transformation.
So he's not just dismissing his friend's point.
No, not at all. He acknowledges the intelligence, the experience behind it, but he chooses to hold on to this profound belief in human agency, in the potential for deep transformation, even later in life. He really emphasizes that even if success in changing yourself or someone else isn't guaranteed, the sheer act of trying is what's crucial. That's where the power lies.
Right. He says, but for this time, I wish that people at least try, whether success comes or failure comes.
Exactly. And that's not some naive, idealistic plea for a fairy tale ending. It feels more like this quiet urgency, an insistence that the very possibility of change, however small, however slow, is worth the effort, worth investing our limited life force into.
It's a stance against just stagnating.
Absolutely. An assertion that the human spirit has this inherent capacity for adaptation, for growth, fueled by purpose. And, this ties into what neuroscience talks about with neuroplasticity, right?
Yeah, the idea that our brains can change.
Exactly. Our brains aren't static lumps. They can and do rewire themselves throughout our lives based on new experiences, learning, intention. So the capacity for change isn't just a nice idea. It's literally hardwired into us.
So that contrast is really striking. You've got the cynical view, give up, accept your fate, it's futile.
Right.
And then you have the author, backed by this understanding of our brains, insisting that influence, inspiration, personal effort, they can spark profound changes, even in people who seem really stuck.
It pushes back hard against the insidious idea that our default state, that autopilot mode, is our permanent destination.
It's about remembering that the ability to grow, to learn, to chase new dreams, to reconnect with our vitality, it doesn't have an expiry date.
Exactly, no expiry date.
Okay, so we really covered a lot of ground. We've looked at what autopilot life feels like, the science behind it, dopamine, stress, and the absolutely vital, almost magical role that dreams play in fueling our engagement, our vitality. We've even tackled that cynical idea that change isn't possible after a certain age, affirming that our capacity to transform endures. So now, the big question. The one we've been building towards. How do we actually do it? How do we shift out of this autopilot state?
The practical steps.
Exactly. The article doesn't just leave us with insights, it offers practical steps, what we can really think of as a wayback map, a set of actual directions for you, the listener, to start reclaiming your life from that grip of autopilot.
Yes, and these aren't like complex philosophical concepts or some unattainable ideals. They're presented as concrete, accessible steps that pretty much anyone can begin to implement starting right away.
Okay, what's step one on the map?
The first step the source lays out is to spend some time with those who are successful and active in life.
Okay. Surround yourself with vibrant people.
Essentially, yes. This isn't just about passively watching them or admiring from a distance. The idea here seems to be that energy, passion, purpose, they're profoundly contagious.
So it's about consciously choosing your environment, your company, curating your social circle to include people who are actively engaged, pursuing things, achieving things, people who seem fully present and alive.
That seems to be the core of it. Why is that specific company so important, according to the source? What's the mechanism?
Yeah, what does it do?
The source suggests that their experience and, crucially, their discussions can be transformative. When you actively immerse yourself, spend real time with people who embody the energy and purpose you want to cultivate. Their mindset, their strategies for handling challenges, their very way of being can start to rub off on you.
Like osmosis?
Almost like osmosis, yeah. You start to internalize their approach to life, maybe their resilience, their optimism. It's about creating this immersive atmosphere of engagement and success, which can powerfully disrupt the inertia, the isolation of autopilot. Their perspective can offer a completely fresh lens to view your own challenges and potential through.
Okay, that makes sense. And building right on that, the second step is to discuss their experiences. So it's not just enough to be around them.
No, it requires more active engagement than that.
More than just soaking it in.
Exactly. This isn't passive. It's an active process of inquiry, of learning, The discuss part means really engaging deeply with their stories, asking open-ended questions, truly listening to their challenges, understanding how they got through them, celebrating their wins with
So
them.
it's like informal mentoring almost.
It absolutely can be. This active engagement provides invaluable inspiration, practical insights into how they actually achieve what they do. And yeah, it can be a form of informal mentorship. You start to see how they navigated difficulties, how they kept their burning desire alive through setbacks, and that understanding can directly inform your own path out of autopilot.
It kind of demystifies success. Makes it feel less like some innate talent and more like a process you can learn.
Precisely. Less magic, more method.
Okay, that brings us to the third step, which feels absolutely crucial because it directly tackles that core issue of dreamlessness that fuels the autopilot state.
Mm.
And that is, write down all shelled dreams in a diary or notepad or Facebook.
Yes. This step is so profoundly powerful because it takes those long forgotten, maybe even consciously pushed aside aspirations, and it externalizes them.
Makes them real.
Exactly. Why is writing them down so vital? Because a dream that's just locked up in your head, it stays ephemeral, vague, a fleeting wish. But a dream written down suddenly becomes real, tangible.
Something you can look at.
Something you can see, reflect on, eventually act upon. The act of putting pen to paper or, fingers to keyboard, it creates a commitment, a visible reminder of what truly excites you, what drives you deep down. It doesn't really matter where you write them, diary, notepad, Facebook, as the source says, just that you do the physical act of articulating them.
It's the first step from just having a dream to actually pursuing it.
Absolutely. It bridges that gap between desire and intention. It's like drawing the map before you start the journey. You need to know where you're trying to go.
Okay. Vital step, and finally the fourth step, the culmination of this way back map. This is where all that intention meets action. Then put all your life force into that goal.
Right. This is where the rubber meets the road, isn't it? It emphasizes a level of commitment that goes way beyond just, half-hearted attempts or fleeting New Year's resolutions.
All your life force. That sounds intense.
It is intense. It's about dedicating your full energy, your unwavering focus, your precious time, your concerted effort towards these rediscovered dreams. This signifies a conscious, powerful choice to step definitively out of autopilot, to redirect all that energy that was previously scattered, diffused, maybe dormant, into a singular, purposeful direction.
It's like a declaration of intent.
It is a full, almost primal investment in your own future, your own potential. This is how you generate that internal momentum, that sustained burning desire we talked about, the thing that fuels consistent dopamine production and propels you forward, even through challenges. It's what makes your life feel vibrant and intentional again. It's aligning your actions with your deepest aspirations.
So those are the 4 key steps from the source. A really powerful, actionable set of instructions for anyone feeling lost in that autopilot fog. Spend time with vibrant people, learn from their experiences, write down your shelved dreams, and then commit your full life force to bringing them alive.
We wanted to give you a moment here, just a beat, to let that sink in, to maybe think about those steps, those possibilities for your own unique journey, out of the fog, back into the vividness of life, perhaps even just feel a little flicker of one of those dormant dreams starting to stir.
Remember, that feeling of being on autopilot.
Yeah?
It isn't your destiny. Think of it like a dashboard light in your car.
It's a signal. Clear, though maybe subtle sometimes. A signal that something in your internal system needs attention. That your inner compass might be spinning, pointing you nowhere in particular. But the source material, and our deep dive into it today, it makes it really clear. This is not a permanent condition. It's a state you can actively, deliberately, powerfully move out of.
It's fundamentally about remembering what sustains us.
Yeah.
What makes life feel truly worthwhile.
Exactly.
It comes back to those dreams, doesn't it? The ones you might have shelved away, forgotten in the just relentless rush of daily life. The author leaves us with such a beautiful, almost evocative image of what's really possible when you take these steps, when you reconnect with that deep sense of purpose.
That's the image.
He says, one day in your dream, your elder brother from college university might be patting your back saying, "Hey, we finally met." It's such a powerful metaphor, isn't it? Almost wistful. For truly arriving, for fulfilling your potential, for reconnecting not just with other people, but with that energetic, hopeful, fully engaged person you once were. And maybe most profoundly, the vibrant, intentional person you could be again. It's about finding your way back to yourself.
It's a potent symbol, isn't it, for reclosing that lost connection, not just with others, but with your own aspirations, your own inner drive. And it profoundly underlines that the journey out of autopilot, it isn't just about what you gain in terms of, tangible achievements. It's about who you become in the process and the invaluable relationships you rekindle along the way, both with others and with your deepest self.
So here's a little challenge for you as you wrap up this deep dive with us. Something small, but maybe significant. Something you could do right now, or maybe tonight. Before you go to sleep, take one small conscious step towards re-engaging, towards stepping out of autopilot.
What kind of step?
Think of one friend, someone you haven't connected with in a long time, someone who might have just drifted from your active awareness. Just send them a simple text. Thinking of you. That's it. It directly addresses that social disengagement the source talked about. It's a tiny act, almost effortless, but it's a conscious one. A deliberate choice to connect, a gentle step out of the fog.
It's those small, conscious steps, isn't it, taken consistently. That's what paves the way back. Back from the darkness of dreamlessness towards a life lived with purpose, with genuine connection, and hopefully with profound joy.
You got this.